Awesome. So we're here. Hello and welcome everyone. I do have a little bit of a fun thing, a launch poll. So take a minute for everybody to come in and tell us where you're joining us from, let's say. Awesome. Hi everyone. Hello, hello, hello. June, this is going to be helpful for you to better understand our audience while I do a little bit of an intro. So welcome everyone. I am Naimisha Murthy, founder and creator of Products by Women. Before we do begin, I want to start off by saying a really big thank you so much for being here and investing in yourself. I also want to really take a minute to thank our partners, Flick and General Assembly, and last but not the least, June, for your incredible energy and time and always like really supporting us. Some general housekeeping tips before we do get started. This event is being recorded and we will be sharing a recording after via email and on our YouTube channel. So stay tuned for that. Please do feel free to drop your questions in the chat box. We will be taking it towards the end of the event. Donnie will be dropping a bunch of resources, including the networking sheet in the chat box. So feel free to fill it out and connect with each other, follow each other on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and everywhere else you can. If you'd like to explore some of the adjacent product management related kind of events that we have coming up, we have one on February 18th with Donnie, who's right here with us, and she's going to be talking about how to break into product marketing, which is going to be awesome. You can also find all the information on productsbywomen.com. Lastly, if you'd like to speak or moderate an upcoming event or be featured on Products by Women, do feel free to reach out to us on info@productsbywomen or fill out a small form that Donnie may be dropping right here. If she doesn't have that, then reach out to us at info@productsbywomen.com. Yeah, that's my little intro. But with that, I'd like to pass it on to Michelle from Flick.
Hey, thanks so much. Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle. I'm the co-founder of Flick, and I'm joined here today by Heather, who also works on our marketing team. And so if you haven't heard of Flick before, we are a platform and community hub that connects female founders and leaders with learners from across the world through meaningful apprenticeships or career experiences. So if you're a founder or leader needing helping hands on your business, definitely check us out at weareflick.com. If you're a student or a learner, I know we have a lot of people from General Assembly. Actually, I think we partnered with General Assembly several times. So we do have a lot of people from General Assembly looking for experience, looking to apply your UX UI design skills, engineering skills, whatever it may be, in real projects in real time, adding to your portfolio, building out your resume. I know when I was a student, a little bit about me is I was a medical science student and I had no way to get any business experience at all. So I would reach out to founders all the time and just ask them, can I help you out on like social media? Can I help you out on marketing campaign management? And one thing led to another, and ended up starting a company based on that idea. So you never know where any of these connections might take you. So if you're interested, check us out at weareflick.com. And I think Heather dropped the links. Thanks so much, Heather. I will pass it on to Angela.
Thank you so much, Michelle. First off, I just want to say I'm in awe of the powerful women in front of me and the fact that y'all are all here to hear from June and her expertise about LinkedIn and getting your career pumped up. But yeah, everybody, hello and welcome. My name is Angela and I'm the marketing producer for General Assembly's New York City campus. A little bit about us is that we started out in 2011 as a co-working space and quickly evolved to be now a global tech education service company. And on top of it, besides free events where we get inspired and educated from awesome industry experts, we do offer workshops and also part-time, full-time courses specifically for the topics of coding, UX design, data, product, of course, marketing, business, and career development. So if you're interested in checking out what we've got in store, use the bit.ly that you see on the bottom of the screen that says ga.co to check us out. But I'll also be on for the entirety of the event to support the chat, be a cheerleader for our wonderful presenter. And yeah, if you have any other additional questions, I have left my contact in the spreadsheet as well. So I hope to connect with you. And now I'm going to pass it to our amazing host, Naimisha. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Angela, and thank you, everybody. And with that, I'd like to introduce and welcome June. June, you're back with us after, I think, over a year. The
Oh my
last time
goodness.
you joined us, we had about 250 RSVPs. For today's event, we have over 1,200. We already have 223 people and more coming in and trickling in, which is incredible. For those of you who don't know June, she has an amazing story and she's going to share more about that. But she's a tech UXR recruiter at Meta. She's also recognized as LinkedIn's top job experts to follow. I really don't want to do more of an introduction. She's a mom, she's a creator, she's an influencer, she does just so many things. So June, I'll pass it to you to do a little bit of a quick intro and take it away from here, for the rest of the.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Namisha. This is coming home from me because Namisha and Products by Women, this was my first ever workshop that I've ever hosted post layoff. And I grew up wanting to be a teacher. So it's coming full circle now that I'm here. I want to thank everyone for being part of this event. Congratulations to you for taking some time to invest in yourself. I'm super excited to share a little bit about my story, the power of personal branding, LinkedIn, networking, and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I know we have a few designers here, so just letting everyone know I use Canva. So not a subject matter expert when it comes to design, but my virtual assistant helps me with this presentation. Can everyone see this? Yes. On your screen? Okay, awesome. So we are going to be talking about the power of optimizing your LinkedIn profile. I'm going to do a little bit of an introduction. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm June. These are just some of my highlights here. I'm a recruiter, career coach. I have a strong passion for building community. I actually started my career coaching side hustle in lieu of the pandemic when I experienced my very first layoff. And then I have a really well-versed background from agency recruiting to recruiting for UX researchers from Meta, now working here at Facebook. I'm sorry, I'm like fumbling my words. It's my first webinar for the year. But building teams for unicorn startups to tech giants. I built a very powerful personal brand from scratch in less than 1 year. And then my content has reached over 2.3 million views on LinkedIn, and it has helped thousands of professionals in their job searching careers. And for me, it's not about the numbers as far as the amount of views, it's the amount of people that I was able to help through like sharing my story, showing up as a thought leader. And I never really knew what a personal brand was as far as like how it's tied to your careers. And I'm going to be talking about how that resonates with you and how you should really invest taking some time to really identify your strengths and superpowers to really use your personal brand as your differentiator compared to other candidates that are trying to compete for the same job as you. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so what are we covering tonight? I am going to be covering the importance of personal brand, why it's important, how building a personal brand on LinkedIn can elevate your career, and then the importance of having an optimized LinkedIn profile. I'm also going to be sharing some quick actionable tips that you can implement in your LinkedIn profile, as well as sharing an example from a fellow speaker for Products by Women, Grace Ling. She gave me permission to show her profile because she is in UX design. So I think it's going to give you a great foundation to start when you are like thinking of rebranding your LinkedIn profile. Okay, so what is your personal brand? You probably have heard of Jeff Bezos, but he says your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. So when you think about personal brand, it's a correlation and makeup between your professional experience, your education, your strengths, your experiences, your values as far as what is it important for you when you think about the values that a company has in their culture, in their mission, right? And then in your hobbies, your goals, all of the failures that you've experienced in your life, what have those lessons taught you that made you a better professional or made you a better person overall, as well as your unique skills. And when it comes to personal branding, it's also how you see yourself and how others see you. And sometimes like I have a lot of job seekers reaching out to me, even in my candidates asking me, June, what is a personal brand? How do I even start identifying what my personal brand is? So if you are struggling to define your personal brand, here's some things that you can actually do to help you build that foundation. So what I would recommend is ask your friends and family and coworkers, what are some words that best describe you? Maybe you could also read some past performance reviews, recommendations from your coworkers, classmates, former managers. And then also there's some great tests out there. You're probably very familiar with StrengthsFinder as well as High Five tests, where you could take these strength aptitude tests to really identify your unique skills and strengths. And then when you identify those strengths, you want to start creating different stories that amplify those strengths so you could tell these examples during your interviews. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the nitty gritty as far as how posting on LinkedIn really transferred my career journey and how it really elevated my personal brand. So it all started, dun, 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 I'm doing a little bit of storytelling here today, but it all started when, unfortunately, because of this pandemic that we're still in, I can't believe it, we're approaching 2 years of being in this pandemic. But after I was laid off from Wish back in April of 2020, I knew that I couldn't go back to work. I had to, be at home, present with my children, help them adapt to virtual learning. But I really wanted to find a way to really give back to the community. And I didn't really utilize LinkedIn in my previous experience as a recruiter post layoff. I mean, all in all, I have a total of 7 years of experience utilizing LinkedIn. Never really, prior to that pandemic or that layoff, never really utilized the platform to promote my personal brand or even network. It wasn't until I was let go from Wish when I realized the power of storytelling on LinkedIn and the power of connectivity with connecting with other people in the industry. So I started actually sharing content on LinkedIn. And it just really catapulted from me sharing advice from me being a recruiter for tech startups and tech giants, sharing career advice for job seekers to really give them that sense of hope and really help them navigate through a very competitive job market, and giving them tips from resume tips to LinkedIn to interview tips. And then I also kind of combined my content and storytelling of sharing stories of what it's like to be a working mom, right? I'm kind of navigating and balancing the work-life balance with working full-time, raising your children. And then my content is kind of a blend between videos, text posts, and articles. And this really helped me kind of find my voice on LinkedIn. I know that plenty of people look at LinkedIn as it's just a job board, right? There's about 30 million companies on LinkedIn. When you think about it, it's like it's a place where I'm going to go ahead and apply for a new job, right? But it's so much more than that. It's a great place to really share your story and amplify your personal brand by creating content. And I'm going to kind of share some different ways that you can do that as well. So these are just some highlights. And because I started showing up pretty consistently on LinkedIn, I was presented with multiple opportunities as far as speaking webinars like this, facilitating different workshops through boot camps, as well as community colleges. It was also featured on LinkedIn News and interviewed by senior editor of LinkedIn News, Andrew Seaman. And this is kind of some recent achievements. This is when I started really getting more exposure on LinkedIn. And I'm just kind of showing this to you as far as the number of views and data points, because I really want everyone here that's watching to look at the amount of exposure that you can get on LinkedIn. When you think of a view, think about who's actually seeing your content or seeing your article that you're writing about, maybe a new product that you're working on at your current job, right? it's going to really give you that exposure to hiring managers, to recruiters, to industry professionals, C-level directors. So I really want you to look at the views anytime that anyone is viewing your content or reading your post as an opportunity to network and possibly get an interview or a network connection. Maybe you'll get a referral to one of your dream companies. So I really want to encourage job seekers to kind of change that mindset shift of looking at LinkedIn as a platform to connect with other professionals, get opportunities to the untapped market. And once I actually started posting consistently on LinkedIn, even when I wasn't actively looking for work, I started getting reached out by companies through my DMs. That this was actually a snapshot from a company saying, "Hey June, I hope you're doing well. I'm so impressed with your resilience after being laid off from Wish. I was wondering if you are open to chatting about getting back into corporate recruiting." And the reason why I'm sharing this is, when we think about LinkedIn, we think about everyone's really just kind of celebrating their accomplishments, their milestones. But the community is very supportive. They really embrace vulnerability. And you never know, like if you're kind of struggling with like your mental health, or if you want to share a story that you've experienced in your professional life where you've had to deal with adversity, I really suggest and encourage you to share that, because you just never know that story could actually inspire someone or inspire them to reach out to you and say, "Hey, I really, really loved your recent post. It really definitely encompasses resilience. I feel like you could definitely be a great fit for one of our roles here. Would you love to like have a conversation about an opportunity at this company?" So we're just trying to encourage people to use innovative strategies other than just applying to jobs to get access to opportunities like these, like these right here. Okay, so I'm just kind of reiterating everything that I've been saying as far as LinkedIn is more than a job board. It's a platform for you to promote your skills and personal brand, network with industry professionals, learn industry trends, and share your value and experience with the world. And then why is this important? As I mentioned, since many job seekers are not utilizing LinkedIn as a platform to be creative or showcase their opportunities, this is where you're going to take an advantage to be at that top 1% of LinkedIn users that is using the platform to create content. And I'm going to show you some stats about that. Okay, before I go into as far as like how many active users are posting on LinkedIn, a LinkedIn global survey found that 80% of professionals consider professional networking to be important in career success. 35% of surveyed professionals say that a casual conversation through LinkedIn messaging or even through the comments has led to an opportunity. And about 61% of professionals that have that regular online interaction with their personal network can lead the way into possible opportunities. Okay, so there's over this is probably not accurate, but there are over 740 million users on LinkedIn. And I think, speaking to one of my connections at LinkedIn, I definitely think this number has increased, but about 78% of users do not create content on LinkedIn. 22% do, but only 1% post on a consistent basis. So what does this mean for you? So two words come to mind. It means visibility and credibility. So optimizing your LinkedIn profile and creating content that will promote you as an industry expert will gain you visibility, credibility, and exposure. And this is a graphic here that kind of just shows you like who's on LinkedIn as far as like their titles. There's 90 million senior level influencers, C-level executives, about 10 million, 3 million MBA graduates. One thing that really points out to me is there's 63 million decision makers on LinkedIn. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and give you behind the scenes, because I know everyone's here today because they really want to know and understand what recruiters, what hiring managers, what sourcers are really looking for when it comes to your LinkedIn profile. So this is what it looks like behind the scenes when recruiters are utilizing LinkedIn Recruiter. So it's going to be a different platform that the regular LinkedIn user has. But as you can see here, this is where they will put all of their different keywords, targeted skills right here on the left-hand side, as far as titles, skills, education, and maybe some soft and technical skills that they're looking for. This was actually an example that I found on Google. So when you have a recruiter that's working on a new role, what they typically do is these intake meetings when they're having a conversation with their hiring manager, and they're typically asking them, what are some different titles or transferable titles that I should be looking for if I'm looking to hire a product manager, graphic designer, right? Kind of like taking basically like a list of the different transferable titles and skills. And when they're gathering that information, they're going to go ahead and put that information into the search bar, these filters. So that's why it's really important to optimize your LinkedIn profile and have it SEO friendly, which means search engine optimization, by blasting and putting keywords all over your profile from top to bottom, as far as your headline, your about section, your experience section. And I'm actually going to show you in a few slides what that could look like for you. So these are some examples. You want to place it everywhere. And I always say this, if you follow me on TikTok, I'm always saying that the most important real estate of your profile is your headline. The reason being is, if you could go back to this search results here, when recruiters and sourcers are filtering through candidates, this is the first thing that they see right here as far as the results. And what really catches my eye is when someone has an optimized LinkedIn profile like this, a headline like this. They're telling me that they're a project manager and they do business analytics at LinkedIn. But this is also a great way with your headline to showcase some accomplishments, maybe some quantifiable metrics if you're in sales, talk about the revenue that you generated for the company that you're working for. But this is a really great way to grab that sourcer or recruiter's attention so they can go ahead and click on your profile to learn a little bit more about you. So if there's one thing that you can do today, leaving this webinar, I would really suggest investing some time to play with some keywords. And I'm going to show you one of my favorite headline formulas that you can implement today. And then, so as I was saying, you really want to blast those keywords all over your profile, from your headline, your about section, and experience section. And I'm going to actually show you an example from Grace Ling. And she was actually one of the first creators I started to follow that really inspired me to start sharing my story. She's a huge advocate for mental health. And when I actually attended one of her webinars, she was talking about the personal branding and how she kind of struggled with like showing up for herself on LinkedIn. But once she actually started putting herself out there and utilizing her voice, multiple opportunities came to her because of her messaging, because of her personal branding, because her advocacy for mental health. So this is Tracy Ling's profile right here. And the reason why I really wanted to share this profile with you is because Grace right now is currently a designer at EA, but she also has a community that she's built called Design Buddies. And the reason why I love her profile is she combines her own personal brand. She's the founder of Design Buddies. And it's a community where there's different designers there that really just kind of encourage each other. They share different designs. And she's also like consistently posting about her community, but also sharing a little bit about her passion for running. She also actually shows different posts of her designs that she has. And what's great about this is she's not only showcasing her work with Design Buddies, but she's showing that she's doing things outside of work, outside of her 9 to 5. She's passionate, right? She's dynamic. She's giving back to the community by hosting different webinars. You see a little bit of her passion for running right here. So this is what I really want to encourage people to do, as far as having that combination where you're showcasing your professional experience, but you're also sharing what you love to do outside of work. Because at the end of the day, we are all the professionals here, right? But that's just not who we are. We are mothers, we are daughters. I love to dance. If you follow me on LinkedIn and TikTok, I'm always posting dance videos on LinkedIn. And I know that people are a little bit nervous as far as like oversharing on LinkedIn, but I always encourage people, the way you show up on LinkedIn is how you should show up in everyday life, right? Or vice versa, right? is being, embracing your hobbies, embracing your passions, because companies hire people, right? They want to know they want to get to know who you are outside of work. What are some hobbies that you like to do? Are you really passionate about volunteering, right? So LinkedIn is a really great platform to combine your passions, your experience, your stories, right? But she does a really great job by doing this right here. And you can see her posts and content is just very engaging, stimulating. And what she's doing, she's also showcasing her skills. And I'm actually going to go back to her profile and just kind of do a little bit of a deep dive here as well. But as you can see here, she has a really great optimized headline here. She's currently a designer at EA, which is also the founder and design lead for Design Buddy. She's an illustrator, she's a speaker. And then what I love about her about section is she talks about her passion of creating digital experiences. She's currently by day a designer at EA, but by night she's a founder and design lead of Designer Buddies. And then she talks about her work as far as speaking engagement. She's conducted 80 plus speaking engagements with audiences ranging from elementary to senior level professionals. And then bam, she has her portfolio and social media links right here. So your about section is a great way to kind of combine and share your story about how you started your career and what are some of the things that you like to do outside of your 9 to 5. And if you go down here, just one thing that I see job seekers underutilize is your feature section. Your featured section is a great way to showcase your work. Any publications that you've been featured on, maybe if you have a portfolio or your own website that has all of your digital designs, you could do that here as well. And then with your experience section, you just want to give the person that's visiting your profile a little snapshot, a little like sneak peek to the work that you've been doing, your current or past roles. And I always highly suggest by including quantifiable metrics. So like if you look at Grace's experience right here as the user experience design intern, I love how she kind of broke it down by creating wireframes, high fidelity mockups and design systems of web and mobile interface designs for 5 million monthly users. So what that actually does, it showcases her impact, right? So I really encourage people to, and right here too as well, designed brand marketing assets for 15,000 plus users. So really, when recruiters, when managers, when people are looking at your profile, they want to know the impact and showcase like the amount of users that your work has been impacted with is really going to show your work ethic, right? Your how successful your work is in your current role. So that's that. And then also too, in your experience section, if you have, if you've been featured in your company's website, you could also attach it as an image or a link. That way, people, when they're visiting your profile, they can kind of see what you were doing at your past or previous company. Okay. Okay, so this is one of my, I don't know why this is here, but this is one of my headline formulas that I like to kind of present is your role. And you want to, like, say if you are, I'm going to give an example as like project manager, because that could be also transferable to being like a program manager, right? You want to include as maybe like 2 or 3 different titles or keywords that's relevant to your industry. That way your profile will pop up in the search results of the recruiter or sourcers. And then add a little bit of fun. It doesn't have to be so dry and boring where you're just talking about work. I like this example where this person puts human resources manager, 10 plus years, people experience, Disneyland annual pass holder, senior manufacturing engineer, 6+ years in GMP manufacturing, and cat fanatic. So you can always just have a really great combination of targeted keywords, tech skills, quantifiable metrics, and a fun fact. Okay, so when it comes to personal branding, it's going to help you set yourself apart. You can use your personal brand to differentiate yourself from other candidates. It builds credibility and connections. You can showcase your skills and experiences online, and will gain you more exposure and connections that can lead to possible opportunities. It's also part of the screening process. A career builder survey says 70% of employers use social media, specifically LinkedIn, to screen candidates. And then I just want to show this example too, as far as I mentioned, the power of like creating posts. This was someone that posted, she's actually trying to transition from higher education into tech. This is someone that I connected with on TikTok, and I encouraged her to start creating content, start posting that she's actively looking for work and looking to transition. And she made this post. She said, "Hey, LinkedIn, I'm looking to work in the tech industry, specifically in project management, program management, HR, recruiting, and I love a bit of help." I love how she lists basically was very direct. And then she mentions as far as like her call to action, if you're part of the tech network or know folks that are there, please give this post a like, comment so we can connect and I can expand my network and reach. And that post did really well. She actually got reached out to by someone that was hiring. He says, "Hey, Olivia, I might have some exciting opportunities in your warehouse across AI and ed tech. Would you like to send me your resume?" She actually got an interview from that. So this is what I really want to encourage job seekers to do is, other than applying jobs, make posts like this and lean on your network and ask them for help, because it can result in an interview or your next job opportunity. Okay, and I wanted to kind of end this by sharing a quote. This was one from my friend and leadership coach that I had a pleasure to work with. And the reason why I want to share this quote, and I'm going to kind of just read it to you. She says, "As a woman of color, we don't often see ourselves represented. Never know who will be inspired by seeing themselves in you." And I'm sharing that with you because this really resonated in me, because I didn't see anyone that looked like me on LinkedIn. I'm a first generation Filipino American. I'm a millennial mom. I'm pretty, I would say extra. I love to act, I love to dance. And part of me had this fear of coming on LinkedIn because I thought that people wouldn't take me seriously as a professional. But the reason why I wanted to do it is because I really want to encourage people to show up as themselves authentically, right? And I'm encouraging everyone here today to do the same. So we all have a story to tell and value to share with this world. And when it comes to how to start with LinkedIn, optimize your LinkedIn profile to your targeted and dream position, start following people in your desired industry, mix up your network with industry connections and people that inspire you, and then put yourself out there by sharing content about your journey. Okay, and then I also just want to share that, as you know, I am working full time and I've been getting reached out to by so many people on LinkedIn asking if I'm still doing coaching services and support. But because I've been so focused in my new role here at Meta, I just don't have the capacity to do that. So I really wanted to create something that was very accessible and affordable to help people level up on LinkedIn. And I've created this online community called Career Hustle and Flow, where you have access to my LinkedIn course, templates, live workshops, and Q&A. So I'm really trying to empower underdogs and career hustlers that come from all walks of life, level up on LinkedIn and start looking at LinkedIn differently, right? So if you're interested, the website's right there, and careerhustleandflow.com. And then you can find me here. These are our events for this month and next. But you can also find me here on all of my socials on that TikTok, Build with June, my LinkedIn, Instagram's all there, and my website. But thank you.
Thank you so much, June. That was incredible. So much packed in like 30 minutes.
I know, I was like fumbling my words because
awesome.
it was a lot of information. So I was trying to get everything in 30
I know
minutes.
we have like so many questions blowing up in the chat box. So I'm gonna try to do my best to sprinkle in some of the questions that I have prepared, and everybody on our like planning panel, if you feel like something's important, jump in, like switch on your camera and jump in. The very first question that I really want to kick it off, June, is with what are some common mistakes? You spoke about everything that needs to be done right. But what are some common mistakes you often see on LinkedIn, like that people make?
Ooh, that's a good question. Like with your profile or networking?
Both,
I'll go
like
into it.
overarching, like go into both. Like tell me,
Yeah,
you see like someone's
that's a good
LinkedIn, you're
question.
like, what's wrong? Like, are they getting their headline wrong? Are they not
Oh yeah.
working enough? Do they have their, is their headshot like outdated, like from 10 years ago? I see that so often, but like, yeah, what are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, that's actually, I'll speak about that too. Is I use a picture. I think, people that I work with, they want to get into tech, right? And that was one of the questions too. How do I dress in my profile picture? One of the students that I worked with at a boot camp for DevOps engineering, I was helping with his LinkedIn profile, and he was wearing a 5-piece suit. And I said, Brian, engineers do not wear suits. You want to dress for the job that you want, right? So he changed it. But I think the biggest mistake is people don't utilize each section of their LinkedIn profile, especially the headline. Again, your headline is the appetizer. You want to give something to the recruiter or anyone that's visiting your profile. And keep in mind too, if you're actively commenting on LinkedIn, if you're creating content and you're posting and you're commenting and engaging on other people's posts, sharing your perspective and different life experiences, people will see your headline, right? And actually that person, that student that I was working with, he spent 15 years as a police officer transitioning into tech. And because he was commenting in someone's post saying that I'm looking to transition into tech, I just recently completed my certification in DevOps engineering. He got an interview and got his first job as a DevOps engineer. So that's the power of your headline, because people are seeing who you are when you're commenting, when you're posting. So that's one thing that I really suggest doing today, is optimizing your headline, because that's what's going to grab that recruiter's attention. And then also I see a lot of people not utilizing the about section. You want to look at the about section on your profile. That is very similar to a resume, right? It's going to give that recruiter or that person visiting your profile. It's true too. Recruiters look at LinkedIn and scan through it 6 to 7 seconds, right? I always say that you want to put a powerful hook in the about section, stating who you are, what are you trying to do. That way, that recruiter could go down below the fold and continue reading your profile. So that's like one of that's some mistakes. And then one thing too, when it comes to messaging, networking and messaging, is really, I think because there's so much like competition, is very competitive in tech. People do often use the same template, which is fine, but be very cautious when you're messaging, because I receive messages that have a different name and different company on the message. So take your time, slow down a bit, do a little bit of research on their profile before you reach out, and always start with some value, or start with when it comes to messaging, like give some kind supportive words, saying, I love it when people reach out to me and say, June, I've been following you, your advice is actually helping me. You always want to kind of start with saying, what is it about them? Why did you reach out to them? And then lead on to like what you're looking for.
I love that, because oftentimes, like when I was younger, like I used to be like, does it like sound weird, like, or does it sound fake if I'm like giving that person all of this like upfront, or does it look too structured? But no, I mean, I think everybody needs validation to say that, hey, this is going, I love you, and it's so, just be as authentic as you can. And I agree with you with structuring the message in a way that is authentic and also very short and to the point, and that's really important. June, the other question I really had prepared was about the skills section. Oftentimes, yeah, like, when you were sharing the first screen of what the recruiter sees, I noticed that you spoke about skills. And interestingly enough, like I think my skills section is absolutely outdated, which means you probably don't even see product management, although I am a
see your
product
profile?
manager.
Can I put you on blast?
Yeah, like critique me and will like please grind me, everyone here. And after that, I'm going to add product management.
Oh my gosh, it is. I'm going to show you. I'm going to put you.
Yeah, and everyone needs to say that, like, yeah, please go ahead, share your screen and critique my profile. I think I'm sure there's like
is this it right here?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
so outdated. Like I have no clue what's even happening there, but yeah. So guys, like I want to talk a little bit about this section because I feel like it's extremely important, but I don't pay enough attention to that. And then the other part of the question is, and I'll get to that, is the description for each role. How
Ooh,
important is that?
yes, it is important. And I'm going to give you critique right now too.
Yeah.
Um, because okay. Well, first off, this is your profile, right? I mean, I'm going to give you some good feedback. I love your headline, product manager, founder, and community builder, products by women. I love that. I would suggest adding more keywords tied to product management. I want to give this recommendation for people. When it comes to your headline, you always want to have the targeted positions, like at least two, as the beginning of your headline, because that's going to be the first thing that people see, right? But I love that you also kind of encompass that you're a Forbes contributor, you're a mentor. This is the things that you are passionate about outside of work, right? And then your feature section is spot on there. The thing that is lacking, Anisha, is there's nothing here for your experience. I don't know what you're doing. I know you're a product manager at Huge, and your clients are at Google, Okta, and Varsity Spirit. But what types of, like, what are you doing to support those clients?
I love
Right?
that. I mean, yeah, I've just not updated that section.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you're speaking about this because I think it's important to have that updated. And I'm going to make sure that it's updated after this. I'm going to use the weekend to do that.
Okay. And then they hear to your skills. Like you always want to have the top 3 skills in the roles that you are striving to be in as the top. And you actually can modify it too, as far as what shows as their top 3. And it's
Right.
always good to have at least like 99 endorsements for skills.
Yeah.
But like market research, digital marketing, like you definitely need to change this. Because when I ask you as a product manager, what are your top 3 skills that you need?
Oh, yeah. Um, I think road mapping, strategic product management, negotiation, influencing, PNL activity, it really, yeah, I feel like I need to spend some time updating my LinkedIn, but really, thank you so much for critiquing it. I love that. I mean, use this time to critique mine. And I think, in fact, we should be doing this more often. This is
Oh
awesome.
yeah, you can bring me back and I can do some critiques and audits.
I do want to, Donnie, are there any questions that are coming in which you see a theme? Like, feel free to call it out.
Sure. So there were a lot of questions about what to put in your LinkedIn title, especially if you're transitioning into a new career or, you're getting back from a career break or you're moving from academia to tech or a more corporate job. What should the candidate put in their profiles?
Yeah, that's a good question. I get this question a lot too for people transitioning into a new role, right? Or they're doing a boot camp and they haven't completed their certification. And they ask me, do I wait until I get certified or do I start marketing myself as a product manager or graphic designer or UX researcher? I say, if you're on the track of getting your certification completed within I'm not even gonna give a time frame. You know that you want to be in this role. You know you want to make that pivot. You always want to market yourself for the job that you want. Yes, maybe you took a career time off because you like me, because I took some time off to help with my kids with virtual learning. Maybe you are transitioning, say you were in the military, now you want to get into project management for a tech company. You want to market and put in your headline the targeted roles that you want to be in and start visioning yourself in that role, and start when you're speaking to people on LinkedIn saying like, hi, yeah, I'm June. And I hate that. I also don't like when people, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit harsh now, when people put aspiring product manager. No, you got to get into that mindset that you are a product manager. So my suggestion is start, if you know that you want to make this pivot, if you know that you're in this path to complete this certification, I would start marketing as soon as possible and start sharing your story on LinkedIn, start writing articles. Like, for example, the DevOps engineer students that I work with, they create Medium blogs, talk about the different programming languages that they're learning, right? So that's my suggestion. Yeah, someone says, Katie, yes, step into it. Step into your power. Yes.
There was another question about somebody mentioning, how do you do a networking call, phone call with a LinkedIn connection?
Ooh, good question. A phone call or a Zoom call?
They said
Do
phone
Zoom.
call, but I'm assuming Zoom.
Let's
Yeah.
do Zoom, because I mean, I've done Zoom so many times during the pandemic. How? Okay, that's a good question. This is what I actually teach in my networking course. I always say you want to have the person that you're connected or you're networking with, have them do most of the talking, right? Saying, thank them for the time, saying, hey, Namisha, I know that, but you've been in product management for 5-10 years. You're currently working at Huge. I'm actually looking to pivot into a product manager and was really impressed with all of the work that you've been doing with products by women. I see that you're in the Forbes Council. I would love to see if you give me some advice as aspiring product manager, right? And then Misha will go ahead and talk and give her advice. But you want to always start off with expressing your gratitude. People love at the end of the day, people love talking about themselves, right? This is why I'm here, right? To help you guys too, right? To share my story. But you want to give compliments to the person that is spending some time out of their day to speak with you. And then after doing a little bit of them doing a little bit of storytelling, then it's your turn. Then you're saying, thank you so much, Namisha, for sharing your career advice. This is what I'm currently doing. And you want to share the work that you've been proud of, what you've been learning. And then ask them, how was the company culture at Huge, right? What are some of the challenges that you experience? What are some of the things about the culture that you really enjoy? Right. And I think there's another question too that I get often asked is, how do I ask for that for referral at the end? Right. I would always say, going into the meeting, the networking meeting, do your homework, research the job, and really try to find a way how you can create different stories and examples that shows that you're a great candidate for that position. That way, when you're speaking to Namisha and saying, hey, I saw that there is actually a product manager intern, there's an internship there, and they're looking for this type of experience. I have this experience based on my conversation with you today. What are your thoughts of me applying for this role, right? Or do you think that I have the capability of doing it, right? And when she says yes, you're like, great. Can you refer me, right? But it just really depends on how the conversation is going, right? If I always just would try to read the other person on the other end, get some social cues. And if you're like, oh, I don't know if it's going to be too soon to ask, then you could always just say, thank you so much for the advice. Would it be okay if I follow up with you? I'm going to use your advice that you shared with me today. I'm going to implement that. I'm going to go ahead and update with you, if you don't mind, about my progress. So you want to continue to foster that relationship. Does that answer your question?
Hopefully it does. Sorry, Amisha, go ahead.
I'm sorry. But June, I just signed you up for like rapid critiquing or rapid feedback.
Oh my God.
on LinkedIn. So you see a bunch of like a sea of LinkedIn messages coming.
So many.
Yeah. So if you want to open up something and give some like constructive feedback to some of like,
on one of these profiles. Okay. This is like the lotto, right? Okay. We're gonna pick
like a couple and let's just go over it. It's, it's a safe space. Let's all like help each other out here. And then if you can give like, look at the LinkedIn profile, pull it up here and say, how do you think the person can improve their headline, from your lens?
Yeah, let me see.
And if you can share your screen,
can you guys put your title? Like, what are you looking to do? If they could put their title, the position that they want to do.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
UXR. There you go. Program management. Ooh. Just open up one.
Okay, there's so many.
Fast.
Okay. Oh, I'm gonna do this one. Wait, there's I want to do this UX researcher. She didn't link it. Okay, hold on. Krishani. Hold on, let me put you here.
All right.
Copy and paste. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna look up. You guys are putting me on the spot here. Hold on.
Yeah, we have about 10 minutes more, so maybe we can do like a couple, and then we'll
like quick feedback.
Quick feedback, like very quick feedback, just high level.
Ooh, okay. Let me do this. I'm doing this customer experience product manager. Danny.
Do you want to
saying
share
your
your
name right.
screen, June?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Danny. Let's see. I'm gonna give you quick feedback here. Okay. Your headline could do a little bit of lifting here. I would add another keyword there and maybe something that you're passionate about outside of Capital One. Let me see here. I don't know if there's no about, and you're okay. There's no about section here, Danny. I don't know who you are outside of Capital One. I don't know how you started your career. What are some of the products that you're proud of? And but the one thing that I do love is like you're showing your trajectory here. You've been at Capital One for almost 9 years, right? So what I would suggest when you're breaking down your experience here is put at least maybe 3 accomplishments that you're proud of for each position. Okay.
Awesome. And so I've spent my whole career at Capital One. Is there like a way that you sort of recommend, like, I can show the trajectory, but I've only ever been in one place? Like, is there a way to highlight that, or I don't know, think about that? Like, 9 years at one space in tech feels just like such a long time.
I know, but that's no, it's a good thing though. But no, yeah, I mean, we're showing your tenure, right? I would let me give you an example. Okay, this is actually one of my clients here. Okay, so she's been a software engineer at this company called Next Jump. And do you see how, so she started off there as a software engineer, then lead, then manager. But do you see how she's included some of the things that she's implemented and worked on by listing 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 bullet points for each role?
Awesome. Okay,
Does this
that's
help?
super helpful.
Yeah. And then you already probably have this on your resume, right? It's just a matter of transferring that information onto your profile. And there's one thing that I want to say to you that people think LinkedIn is just a digital resume. It's not. You don't have to put your complete resume on here. You just want to give them a snapshot. Because the thing is, again, your LinkedIn profile is an appetizer. You want to get that recruiter or sourcer, whoever is interested in speaking with you, a little bit of what you could bring, like as far as your value and skills, so they could ask for that resume, right? So that's my audit for you, Jenny. And let's do another one if you have time. Okay.
Maybe just one more, and then any other burning questions coming from Donnie, and then we'll close out in the interest of time.
Ooh, okay. I really like this one. I'm gonna do this one. Okay, let's see. Lara Rojas, are you here? I like this headline right here. She's an R&D engineer, certified product owner, and scrum master. I love that. What else? I love her banner here. Her about section. It's good. It's okay. I love how she actually starts off by saying, "Hi, I'm Lara. I'm a passionate technology engineer." So bam. So that's the thing too, is you want to put like that first couple of sentences in your about section. You want to state who you are as far as your profession. That way, when recruiters, like, so when I'm looking at her profile, I'm looking to hire an engineer. I'm scanning. I see that she has an engineer in her title. I'm looking for a scrum master. Bam, it's right there. And then I'm going down. And then she's also validating that she's an engineer, because in her about section. So you want to put it, your targeted position all over your profile. I would probably add more keywords right here in the bottom of your about section. And this is good.
Would like to
go ahead. Oh, go ahead. Is that
to
Laura?
product management? Yeah, are you able to hear me?
Oh yeah. Oh, you want to get into product management? Is that
where I'm like struggling? Yes.
Oh, then I would remove. I would put this as the second, as your title. I would put product management as the first title in your headline.
And because
what?
Recommend for when you're like at work and you're a little nervous that the people that you work with,
yeah,
I think that you're like looking for another job.
It's a good question. Let me ask you this: in your current role, so you want to get into product management? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think that's what she's saying. She's going in and out.
Are you doing like the work that you're doing right now? I mean, are you doing a little bit of product management at all, or is this going to be a full-on pivot?
A little bit of work. I would say it's half engineering, half product management, and I did a PM boot camp as well. So far, I do have a couple interviews for an associate product manager role, but I'm not sure how to portray that or channel that more on my LinkedIn.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, if you're not comfortable like putting it on, calling it out right here, I mean, you could put it on like on your second title here, because you're still doing that. If the scope of your work involves product management, then you should put it here. I don't think that there will be any red flags there from your current employer. And I know there's a lot of people that are cautious about that, right? But they can't do anything about it. I mean, yeah, I would suggest putting it here if you can. If not, then you could put here too that the different things that you are passionate about in the role that you are doing right now, and mention product management in your first couple of sentences. And then maybe add also to some product management skills here in your about section. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, June. That's so helpful. Yeah, and we are at 8:26 p.m. ET on the East Coast. It's really late, and I want to be respectful of your time, June. So we'll start closing out, and I do want to give our partners the opportunity to ask any questions they didn't get to. Angela, Michelle, Heather, any questions that we didn't cover that you have for your, on your end?
No, I loved it. I'm a huge supporter of LinkedIn, building your personal brand as well. That's kind of how I got out of being like a medical science student. I had done all my internships in medicine, in like gastroenterology, neurology, and then got into business through talking about my story on LinkedIn. So I really appreciate you coming and speaking about this.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and on the same boat, just want to like say so much thanks to you, June, for sharing your story and the vulnerability of getting, to where you are today from being laid off and also being a mom. So my question to you is, as a career coach, a mom, daughter, wife, all the identities and spaces that you touch, how do you time manage or even project manage? Because you've got a lot going on.
Yeah. I do time blocking, and I'm up by like 4 or 5 in the morning. I have a great assistant that helps me. But it's all about time blocking. And that was one of the reasons why I launched the Career Hustle and Flow community, is so although I love my work that I'm doing, I still have that need to coach. It's in my heart. It's something I'm passionate about, right? And that's one thing to think about too, is sometimes outside of our 9 to 5, we have to do things outside of that to fill our cup, right? So if you're passionate about it, try to carve out some time. But time blocking for me, I have theme days where I do just content batching on TikTok. It's usually Sundays. But yeah, it's time. I live by my calendar. So time blocking, my calendar, and waking up really early in the morning. Good question.
Thank you. I wish I was a morning person. I am unfortunately not, but you know what? I'm working on it.
It's never too late.
Whatever works for you. I'm like a late night person. June's an early morning person. Yeah, you could be an afternoon person, but I love this session. I truly did. And this has been like amazing, June. Thank you so much for coming back. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you all. Thank you, Donnie. Thanks for attending this event and making, coming here, because it's only because you all are here, we make it possible. So thanks to our community. And with that, we'll be closing out the session. We will be sharing the recording. So for everybody who didn't make it today, they will be able to plug and play later. And follow June, take a look at like Flick, General Assembly, and connect with each other through the networking sheet. Thank you, guys. June, any closing remarks?
Yes, everyone, just show up for yourself. Take risks. One quote that I read the other day was, instead of existing, start living. And if it means taking risks, being experimental, then do it, because you only have one life to live. And at the end of the day too, with the future of work changing, the importance of personal branding, it's going to just change the way people work and show up on LinkedIn and network, right? So really do more than applying to work, right? I'm currently rereading Atomic Habits by James Clear. So one thing I'll leave with you today, habit stack in your job process. If you're applying for a job, reach out to someone at that company and network with them. See if they can give you the inside scoop of the work culture and see if they can refer you into the company. So that is my last closing words. But thank you so much, Anisha. Thank you everyone for having me. This is my first webinar of 2022.
Yeah.
And yes, thank you. Connect with me on LinkedIn, and my site is billwithjune.com. Thank you.
guys. Good night. See you.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.